everyone, you join me here on New Mexico Highway 152 ascending Emory Pass. It is going to be the Emory Pass Challenge for the Comma 3X running SunnyPilot 0.9.6. You can see here on Google Maps that it's a very twisty mountain road. So we're going to see how it does. Right now we're running the version 0.9.6 and it's on the Farmville driving model from November 2nd, 2023. So yeah, let's see how it does. It's quite improved since I last came up through here. I was using a different model, an older model. I was using an older driving model and it seems to have been improved a lot. And I'm using NLF, I believe it's called, torque control. So yeah, let's see how it does here on this curve. And yeah, sometimes, especially now, it will chime that the steering, the turn exceeds the limit. So you still have to be aware for that. But yeah, if you go slow enough, it usually can take most curves. It does seem to overcorrect itself a little bit towards the inside of the curve. So you can see it's going a little too far to the right. And let's see, it'll correct itself here. And yeah, it's going way over the left center marking. But yeah, it just tries to, the model tries to not go off the road, so that's why it overcorrects a little bit. But yeah, let's see how it does on this stretch here. There's going to be a stretch further up where there's more hairpin turns. So let's see how it does on that part. And of course, when you're using the system on twisty roads, you always have to be aware and ready to take over or adjust the wheel at any time, just because it can't see the curves too well. And also for any obstacles or anything like that. And like I said, it tends to overcorrect itself a little bit. So yeah, it exceeds the limit for that right there. And on this stretch, it's not doing too bad. It is going a little bit over the line, but yeah, I'm going about 20 miles per hour, 30 kilometers an hour. So yeah, a little bit under the rated speed limit. And it seems to be able to, the Comma seems to be able to handle the curves almost all by itself with just some minor adjustments. You can see here it's applying about 70, 80 degrees of steering. And it obviously only does that when you're at lower speeds. So yeah, that's the limit right there. The limit seems to be about 80 or 90 degrees of steering, depending on how slow you're going. And that's the limit right there. And of course, as the curves get tighter, it'll chime more often. We're coming up on a 15 mile per hour rated hairpin curve up ahead. So let's see how it does, slowing down to about 15 right there, and it still exceeds the limit. It's probably because the cameras, they're only using it's not using the ultra wide field of view on the Comma 3X system. So in the future, if the software enables it, and I think it's coming soon, the ultra wide camera can probably see the curves a lot better, but I believe it's not enabled right now. So it's just a standard field of view. And I'll give you numbers there shown on screen, the degrees of field of view. So yeah, the standard camera is that much, and then the ultra wide is a little bit higher. So yeah, still chime there. It looks like there's a squirrel crossing. And yeah, very sharp turns up ahead. This was an area right here where they had a rock slide earlier. So yeah, it's a pretty treacherous road. There aren't that many cars on it. So we're on some temporary pavement. You can see it's doing okay. The lane lines aren't really present, so it's doing the best it can. They're just like small dash lane lines. But it does have a model where it uses a laneless model if the lane lines aren't available. It does tend to stay towards the center part of the road. But the system will work on roads without any lane markings and even dirt roads. But we're back to an area here where there are lane line markings. So it's doing pretty good. Another 15 mile per hour rated hairpin curve. So we're going to slow down to that and see how it takes. It'll probably still chime because it's going to be too sharp for the cameras to see adequately. So we're going here, 16 miles per hour, 100 degrees. It's still trying to do the steering there, a little overcorrected itself at that point. And like I said, it's probably because the system isn't using the ultra-wide field of view camera, so it did overcorrect itself there. But it didn't chime because I was going pretty slow. And let's see how it does here. It's not doing too bad. You're getting kind of close to the edge of the road on the right side, so you do have to be careful when you have a curve to the right, because if there's no shoulder, you will go off the pavement. And then, like I said, just because of how it overcorrects, so there's a curve to the left, you have to be careful because you will go into oncoming traffic. But it's handling that pretty good, and it's pretty responsive when you have a curve to the left and then it turns to the right, or vice versa. The system does compensate and is able to react sort of quickly enough, pretty much. And this is the final hairpin turn here, 15 miles per hour. So we'll see how it takes it. And there's some road salt on the road here, so let's see. Yeah, this was an icy curve here, but it's using the laneless model right now since it can't see the lane lines. So I have to do a little more correction for it. And then, of course, since the ultra-wide cameras aren't enabled, it really couldn't see too well, but it didn't chime or anything, so that's pretty good. But obviously, the cameras just can't see around tight curves, so you do have to steer manually pretty much. We're coming up on the final curves before we hit Emory Pass, and it seems like it's doing pretty good, even though we're going in and out of the shadows. So we do a little correction there, and then here's another curve to the left, and let's see how it does hands-free right now. And here's another curve to the right. It's going to be a little sharper this time. And it's going to overcorrect a little bit. You can see the display can hardly see the edge of the road or anything. A little bit of correction here. It's going to go a little too far to the left and cross the center line a little bit. Otherwise, it's doing pretty good. Far better than the stock Hyundai-Kia system, which just cut out with no warning. So this is really nice that the system does chime at you whenever it needs you to take control, because of the steering is too sharp, and then obviously you can see the cyan border means it's in control, and every time I nudge the wheel it goes to gray. So it shows you when you have control or when the system has control. But we're coming up here on the pass, so I'd say that's a successful test and much improved from a few months ago. The Farmville driving model is pretty good, and with SunnyPilot 0.9.6, the system does enable you to engage it independently of the steering. So that's why I use SunnyPilot, because there's this feature called MADS, M-A-D-S, that lets you just do the steering. So I'm doing all the acceleration manually. Normal stock open pilot doesn't allow you to do that. You have to engage it with both the smart cruise control and also the steering. So yeah, that's why I use it. So that's why I use SunnyPilot, and yeah, I would recommend it for anyone who has a Hyundai-Kia vehicle, especially EGMP cars like the Kia EV6 and Hyundai Ioniq 5. But yeah, we're right here at Emory Pass now. Here's a look at the vista, and that's going to be it. And here we are at Emory Pass. There's the lookout. And that's going to be it for this Emory Pass challenge in the Comma 3X running SunnyPilot 0.9.6. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to get subscribed and check out other videos on my channel. I have a bunch more Comma 3X driving tests and also some EV6 road trips. Get subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those videos. Again, thanks for watching.